Okay, it's video time. So finally, the FlashForge 3D printers have arrived. They're good 3D printers. They are small scale 3D printers. They're perfect for students to learn on because they're not as robust as the 300X or the Creately CR10 that I have near my desk. However, you are going to actually print and you're going to get an understanding of what it actually means to 3D print something. So that's going to start with the setting up of the printer. Okay, so let's just make sure my volume is all the way up so everybody can hear me. And when you start Cura, so the first time you come onto Cura, this is what it'll look like. It'll say, welcome to Ultimaker Cura, which is the program that allows you to print 3D models. It actually it converts an STL or an object file okay, let's back up for a minute. So Tinkercad, Blender, and 3D modeling programs can be used for a lot of things. You can use that to create 3D scenes on a computer that are never going to be printed. You can do animations. You can do other such things like that. So how do we take a 3D model and actually make it a real thing in the real world? You use a 3D printer. So that's a different program. You can't print a 3D print from Tinkercad. You have to take a Tinkercad file and put it into Cura or something like Cura. Cura is the best. It's it's number one, it's free, but it's also very customizable, and you have a lot of options. So this is how you set up the printer to actually turn your STL file into a 3D print. So specifically, Cura can print for any 3D printer, which is why it's the best. It's not a specific program for a specific 3D printer. So for instance, last year I had the MakerBot, and you can only use MakerBot. Well, that's not true. You can use Cura for MakerBot too, right? You just have to program it. You have to tell the computer, okay, these are the settings for this printer. That's really the only difference, and that's what we're going to do right now. So you're going to hit Get Started. You have to agree to the user agreement, otherwise you can't use it. You're going to hit Next, Next, and then you're not going to create an account. You'll just hit Skip. So now we get to the Add a Printer. You're going to add a non-networked printer because you're going to use a USB drive. And there are tons of pre-made settings for printers. Unfortunately, none of them are for the FlashForge. So we have to create a custom that we're going to create our own. So I name it, and I recommend you name it FlashForge because that's the name of the printer. Excuse the interruption. I'm going to talk over the interruption. So now I'm going to hit Next on the Flash. Now that I've named the printer FlashForge, I'm going to hit Next. It then creates the machine, and now we have to put the settings in. So this is the printer build plate. Okay, what is the dimension? So it's 150 by 150 by 150. Okay. Like I said, it's a little bit smaller than your average. We'll just keep it at that. Okay, so your X is your width, your Y is your depth, and then your height is 150 because we just keep it nice and even so we don't have major things. You're going to keep this as a rectangle. It is a rectangle. The origin will be at the center. It is a heated bed, and your G code is going to be Marlin, which is fine. That's a standard G code. Okay, then you're going to go to extruder. The extruder for the FlashForge is 0.36, and in school we always use 1.75 millimeter filament. That's the size of the filament. You change nothing else here. Now we go to the actual printer. This is the hard part. Okay, so this is the G code. Okay. So here's the G code. Before I show you what the G code is, we're going to talk about what is G code. So let's very quickly switch over here. Okay, G code is geometry code. Okay. I guess whenever I change programs, it likes to cancel my video. But anyway, G code. It's geometry code. So it's telling the 3D printer where in the geometry or Cartesian coordinate plane to move specific things. So what is happening, what does it look like, etc. And it's actually explaining it, right? So very quickly, G is your nozzle, okay, and your X, XZ, YZ, XY. Where are you moving it, right? So G17 is telling it, okay, are you going this way? Is it up? Is it down? Is it left to right? All the code, right, is expressed by letters, right? So there's G, there's M, there's F, and this is a very quick explanation. So where are you moving and what are you doing and how you break it down. Without that could be a whole lesson within itself, how to write G code. We're not doing that. I'm just having you understand what G code is, so that way when we get to this part, you can actually type the G code properly. Okay, so I decided to actually copy and paste the files that you need. So when it comes to putting the G code in, you have your FlashForge start.txt. Right? So you'll click that, you'll open it, and then you're going to select this code, hit Control Copy, and put that in where it says Start G Code. Then you're going to come over here and do the end, open that up, copy this, and put that where it says End G Code. This way there's no typos, no problems, no mistakes. So I just wanted to insert that here into the video so there would be no confusion and no mess ups. It looks exactly the way it's supposed to look, and it has that. Then when you're done with that, you're going to hit next. And that's it. It's set up. You're ready to print. So I'll do the next video on how to actually print.